Hello there, and welcome to another edition of iWake. This is Tim Chaten here. Today is Monday, January 21st, 2013, and today's show is going to be a linkless show, a show that is mostly improvised as far as content here. There is not a whole lot going on in the Apple world that is of interest to me at least. There's not really a whole lot of substance here. We're kind of in doldrum of time between CES and Macworld and Apple's next thing, Apple's quarterly earnings call, which is coming up soon. So I thought I'd talk about a couple of different things today. First off, I found a really cool solution to a problem I had. I was trying to stream an 11 gigabyte movie using AirPlay Mirroring from my MacBook Air to the Apple TV. And the video streamed great, but I was encountering an audio issue where the audio was lagging behind and made it unwatchable on the video end because this was a really high definition RIP MKV file that just didn't translate well for AirPlay Mirroring. So I found a rather cool solution, I think. I have a cable that allows me to HDMI to Thunderbolt my MacBook Air. Now, the problem with this is, if I just did that alone, the audio would be going to my projector speakers and not my surround sound system. So I thought, hey, would this work? Would it work if I used the video source through a cable and I AirPlayed the audio to my Apple TV, which is connected to my home theater system? And that did work. So if you have an HDMI cable for your Mac and need to get sound to your Apple TV, you're able to do that. So here's what you do. You just plug in the cable, and then if you option click in the sound area, you'll notice your Apple TV is an output device. Select that and you're pretty much good to go. This is a really cool solution, I think, to a problem some people may be having when they're trying the AirPlay stuff. Next up, I just wanted to report in on fitness and iOS devices and tracking stuff and how that is all going for me so far. I got the Fitbit 1 that was released in the fall of 2012, and this is the device that tracks your steps, your stairs you climb, things like that. And I also got the Scale by Withings. That was a Christmas present. And I also got the blood pressure monitor and by Withings. And I've basically outfitted all sorts of things into my life that allowed me to track stuff. And today was one of the coolest days for Fitbit because today was the day I took my first hike into the mountains out here in New Hampshire, if you can call them that. I did a wintry hike in the snow in my Vibram 5-finger boots. And at the end of the day, I achieved several big milestones. I went above 16,000 steps, climbed 125 floors worth of altitude, which is just remarkable to me that I did that much as far as climbing. And the cool thing is that the app I use with this, Lose It, auto-adjusted how much food I can eat based on the amount of exercise I did. So as I go and Lose It, which is an app that I highly recommend people use if they're wanting to stay on top of what they eat first off and just weight management, things like that, it's really helpful. So it has a Fitbit adjustment of 657 calories based on that work I did this morning. And basically it allows me to, it subtracts from the food I eat. So I could have a little bit more for lunch or dinner because of this. Or if you're really smart and just want to burn off those extra calories and be more in calorie debt, you can just have that noted that you were under more calories that day. So the integration there is really cool. So basically what I'm saying is the Fitbit is really encouraging me to take more steps during the day. I have a goal of 10,000 steps a day. It's encouraging me to wake up early. I'm actually waking up an hour early to walk more. And you get to see some cool sights as you do that. You get to experience different part of life that you don't if you just sleep in all the time. And it's a really encouraging thing to be friends with other Fitbit users, to see how many steps they are taking, to see what badges they have earned as far as steps taken in a day in their lifetime. And it's a really cool thing. And there's groups and things that you can join with the Fitbit community. One group is $1 per mile walked, and it's a way to reward yourself based on the miles you walk with Fitbit. So, very cool stuff all around with tracking yourself. And sleep is another area that you're able to track with Fitbit. On the Fitbit One, you're able to put it in a wrist strap and wear it to bed. And I do this most nights. And the cool thing I noticed the other night when I fell asleep without it on is that when I went to manually log it, it knew when I stopped moving that night because I wasn't moving. I was laying down or passed out in a chair. It knew when I stopped moving. So it helped me. It aided me with the start time. And it also took into account when I walked from my sofa to my bed. It was smart enough to know that I got up at 12:30 in the morning and walked to my bed and woke then. And it put me back to sleep at the right time when I stopped moving again. So even if you don't have it on your wrist, it does some cool things with tracking your sleep. When I do have it on my wrist, it's incredibly cool to know, hey, I stopped moving 20 minutes into me trying to fall asleep. That's a good guess of when I fell asleep. It's good at noting that, hey, at 3 a.m. you're moving around a lot. Hey, at 6:15 a.m. you're moving around a bunch. And that, after analyzing that data myself, that seemed like a good time to wake up around 6 a.m. because I was already moving around. So that is when I wake up for my morning walks now. So you're able to take this data and do some cool things with it. Weight tracking with the Withing scale is a similar thing where I'm able to track my trends and seeing, and it pushes that data out to all these different apps. And tracking your data, you're trending your data is an incredibly cool thing. So if you're someone looking to lose weight or maintain weight or just know more about yourself, I think knowing more about yourself is an incredibly powerful and cool thing to do. So if you're looking to do any of those things, I'd highly recommend a Wi-Fi scale either from Fitbit or Withings. I'd highly recommend the Fitbit itself, either the Zip or the One. I went with the One because I like the altimeter, being able to track how high I go. And also the sleep tracking is quite nice, I believe. And I'd recommend getting started with the Lose It app. That app is invaluable to me. And all of this said, I've been able to, since January 1st, lose around 20 to 22 pounds since this month began. And the trend is fun to see as I continue to lose more and more of this excess weight. The the apps and things encourage me to do that. And I grew up with the mentality of you need to go to a gym to lose weight and get into shape. Well, I'm quickly learning that just by walking more, by being more active, by watching what you eat, and all of that, and be more aware of your body, that you're able to lose weight by just walking and lose a lot of it at that. So I just say this for encouragement for those that want to get into this stuff. If anyone out there is on Lose It or Fitbit, I would love to have more Fitbit and Lose It friends. You can find me, just message me on Twitter at tchaten if you want to get set up with that. Anyways, I thought this stuff might be valuable to. I talked about this on iWake again a couple of weeks ago. I thought I'd do another take of this for you guys as today's news is fairly slow. So, very cool stuff going on in the personal tracking with technology department here. And that is, I believe, what I have to cover for today's show. With that said, thank you for tuning into today's show. My apologies for the lack of news, but there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, so I thought let's take a step back and talk about some things of interest. And with that, you can sign up for iWake again if you would like to financially support this show. It's $10 a month and gives you an extra episode every week. This week's episode was an hour-long conversation I had with Alex Barker about the Oscar nominations and the winter movies. I try to do it once a quarter with Alex Barker, talking about movies in general and what's going on there. So iWakePodcast.com/again for that. I do YouTube videos over at youtube.com/TCHATEN. So thank you for tuning in today's show. I'll talk to everyone again tomorrow for another episode of iWake. Have a good week. Have a good Monday. And talk to everyone again real soon.